It's yet another time for your faith to grow on Testify at Hope TV, where you look and live. I am Sharon Aitore Wangenye, and last week we began going through the story of Dan and the wife Nyambura. They have quite a story. We left it at a point where they had lost 2 children, and they tell me they lost 4 more children. I mean, it's just by the grace of God that you guys are here today. You know, stuff happens to people and they quit and they say, Uyu Mungu, I mean, I don't need to keep serving him if I am going through all these kind of things.
True.
We thank God for you. And let's go to the other story. I mean, baby number 3 and how it happened.
So baby number 3, we lost this one, the second one in August, I think 22nd or 23rd, 2013. And then we decided, okay, this time we're going to change doctors, get a second opinion but just not working with the previous doctor who took us through the first and the second pregnancy. So we changed doctors and we got a doctor who worked with us for a few days, because I got pregnant after 6 months, and then actually this doctor was in Kiambu. So, and it was a doctor, because one thing that we came to realize, when you lose a child, it's not only the 2 of us who were in pain. It was my grandparents, my mom's sisters and brothers. It affected everyone. It affected also my siblings, and it affected each and everyone differently. So this particular time, my grandmother's sister, actually we did used to talk as often, but she decided to call and she told me, you know, I have a nice doctor. This doctor, we go to church together. She's so good. She's my friend. She's a gyna. I want you to actually go and see her. Forget about that doctor you were seeing. Come. This one, even if you want to ask her many questions, she won't get annoyed. Just, because, all ladies have many questions. So, and for her, she's really talkative. So, she really pushed me and told me, when you get pregnant, even without getting pregnant, just go and see her, just go meet her. She knows who you are. I even told her your story, and she told me, you can go and see her. So I went to Kiambu, saw this doctor. She told me, you know what, try and conceive, then we see what happens. But before then, I can do 2 tests, maybe diabetes and pressure. We see if maybe that's a problem of why you're losing the pregnancies early, and then from there let's begin and see. So 6 months later we conceive, and I remember this time I told Dan, I woke up in the middle of the night and I told him, oh my God, the baby has gone.
No.
And I remember that day he woke up and told me, what do you mean? How do you wake up in the middle of the night to tell me what you're saying? He really got offended that how can I wake up in the morning and start saying that you've lost a baby? And for me, it was just the pain that I felt in my belly. I just felt like something has ripped. And I couldn't sleep. And that time, he had just lost his job, yeah? Yeah, he had lost now his 3rd job after now we got married. And that time we were really struggling, and whatever savings we had already spent it too much on these doctors' things. And it bothered us that now we need to go again, see a doctor.
How many months were you by then?
This one was exactly 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, and I remember even this doctor found it really hard to tell me there is no baby. Because she would check in her machine and she'd say, I think the machine has a problem. So she sent me to one of her friends who was also a doctor and had a machine, a scan that could. She kept on blaming the machine was old, and she had used it before until I told her, could it be the machine? And she said, "Oh, this thing is old, eh? So just let's go and use my colleague's machine. She'll give me a proper report." So I went to the next door doctor, and just a friend of hers, a colleague, and she checked and she told me, "You say you're how many weeks?" I told her 8. She told me, "No, this baby passed away like on the 5th week." And I told her, "But I've been feeling like there's a baby moving on and doing all that." She said, "No, you lost this baby 5 weeks ago. Actually on the 5th week. As when I can see the size, I can see everything, and everything tells me that this baby is 5 weeks, not 8. Until I'm very sure it's 8 weeks because I have when I was 2 weeks, we had already checked with the doctor. We had the first scan at 2 weeks, so it showed it's 2 weeks. Said then this baby stopped growing at 5. So the doctor, actually, I think it also bothered the doctor because she was unable even break the news to me. So even that day I went home forgiving that doctor because I thought to myself, oh yeah, I really feel for this doctor because she saw what she saw, but she was unable to tell me. She decided to send me to her colleague. So honestly, I understood. So went home, I told Mom, I've lost this baby again. And I remember that day I didn't spend the night at my house. I went and spent the night at my mom's place. So
what about your husband? Where was he?
He was around, actually.
He was around.
And that day, I remember that day we went looking for, because there was some medication that she had subscribed that I should take before coming the following day. Going to see her the following day so that they can clean me up and do everything. So we met at home at my mom's place, had dinner, and I remember that day it was really bad because I remember it was on a Monday and there was a fellowship happening. So my mom explained to the guys in the fellowship, they prayed, and me, I just told them, I feel like I just need to go and sleep and cry it out. So following morning, Dan came, picked me up. We went with my mom and Dan to the doctors. It was a painful process because the whole procedure, remember the doctor, the doctors who were doing it, they were students, so they kept on talking about it and saying, yeah, so even though abortion you ufanywa. So at times, honestly, I really felt like, okay, these guys are having the wrong conversation around me at this time. So, yeah, at least we handled that, we went home. Yeah, and that was it. We couldn't bury the baby because the baby was really small. Yeah, 5 weeks, really small.
But by this time, what is going through your mind? What is happening to you? I mean, what has God decided?
Remember, I think that time, I remember telling Dan, it's okay, everything will be fine, don't worry, everything will be fine. I just know that's what I kept on telling him, don't worry, everything will be fine. But in there, I was just crying. And I remember one of the nurses talking to me, and she told me, you know what, everything will be fine. The same thing that I kept on telling Dan that day. I told Dan, don't worry, everything will be fine. And I had so much peace. I was not bothered. I felt, I don't know if I became hard. At times when I think about it, I don't think my heart was hardened at that time. No. For me, at that particular time, I kept on remembering, God, you told this lady to tell me that I'll be a mother of many. And if this is a process, let's let the process happen. Yeah. But I don't know why why I have to pass through this journey to get to where I'm meant to get to. Yeah.
So for you, you are drawing your strength and your comfort from God and what He said about your life.
And that time I was in Form 1.
Yeah.
So just the back of my mind is just what that lady kept on telling me. Yeah. What that lady told me when I was in Form 1 was was in my mind. So I kept on saying, everything will be fine. Everything will be okay. Yeah, all will be okay. When I remember that day, we went and said hi to Mom's friend. After leaving the hospital, we did rounds, went, said hi to Mom's friend, and came back home. Yeah.
Was it the same for you, Dan?
Yeah, it was painful. Losing the third child. And I remember when we were at the doctor's, the gynecologist place, I kept asking, what is the problem? And she couldn't explain to me. I tried to, ask her, what was the problem with this pregnancy? And she just told me, maybe the pregnancy was not formed well, and so the pregnancy was a bit short. So she could not get an explanation medically why we lost the pregnancy. Because for me, I was very interested to know what is the issue. Why are we losing these babies like this? So I asked her, and she didn't have the answer. And so
did that frustrate you even the more, that you couldn't find what the reason was?
I could understand also the things that you cannot be able to explain medically, because some of these things are, maybe they'll look at the history, and they'll look at what could have happened, but she couldn't be able to pinpoint and say this is a problem. So she just told me, maybe the baby didn't form well or something happened, but there's really no explanation. We still drew our strength from the Lord. So we're still hopeful. Although feeling that you couldn't get an explanation what happened was not really what you'd expect, but we just moved on. Yeah. So after this pregnancy, I got a job in Kitale, and I had to relocate and had to leave Nyambura behind. And again, Nyambura became pregnant, and this time still, hopeful in knowing that she'll be okay. And my bosses in Kitale were very supportive, because I told them one of my bosses is a medical doctor. So I explained to her our journey, and she told me, don't worry, you guys are still young, you'll get babies, so don't worry. So my bosses actually knew, that was on 2014. So yeah, Nyambura is Nairobi, and the reason why I couldn't move with Nyambura is because I also thought she would get very good medical care in Nairobi rather than moving to her to Kitale. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted her to remain behind, and I knew all along her pregnancies were a bit delicate. So for me, my thinking was that if she's here, she'll be able to get very good medical care.
We tried again, but this time we did it. We gave ourselves just a few months again, and conceived, and we changed again doctors. But this pregnancy just lasted exactly a month. This one, I think the fourth one was for me, I felt really annoyed, because here you are, you've gotten a new doctor, he's not forthcoming with information. The first thing that he had told me is that, okay, from your story and from your history, I think you actually need a stitch. So, of the cervix. So I thought, at least that's good enough. So the time I went to see him, I was two weeks pregnant, and when I got to 4 weeks, this particular time when he moved to Kitale, I moved in with my parents. The next house that was there. So just the idea was that whenever I'm expecting, at least I have someone who will be there. And actually, when we moved into that house, I was 2 weeks pregnant. So it was a good journey to have someone nearby to check on you. So got to 4 weeks. One morning I just woke up and I was bleeding. So I called the doctor. The doctor didn't respond. I told my mom, Mom, I woke up the whole night. I've been in pain, and I need to go and see the doctor. And then she asked me, have you called this doctor that you have been seeing? I said, yes, but it seems that he's in theater. He's not giving me the information. But I think let's go and have a scan taken. Then later we'll know if the baby is there or not. We'll figure things out from there. So we went, I called Dan. I told him what had happened. My dad was annoyed because he told me, what do you mean you've been sleeping in pain and bleeding and you did not wake us up? I told him, the previous pregnancies I've been having similar, but they're never that serious. There's never gone to the point to where I'm in pain. So today I've woken up in pain. So let's just go and see the doctor. So we went, had the scan taken. I remember we went to 2 places, actually 3 places to have the scan. One doctor will check and not believe. The other one, I'm thinking, these guys, are they afraid to tell me what's happening? So even the last one that I had, I told that doctor who was doing the scan, I told him, you know what, just be open. I can see from the machines there is no heartbeat. And you've put sound. I can hear. There's no heartbeat. So there's no baby. Don't get afraid of telling me the information. I understand. Just tell me how many weeks, or if you're not saying anything about weeks or anything, but just tell me there's no baby, I'll be fine. I won't get annoyed. So the guy who was there, I think he was a student. So he told me, I can't give such a report. Let me call my colleague. So he called his colleague. The colleague just wrote it down and said, yeah, for sure, the pregnancy is not there. So, and it's like, it shows you're at 4 weeks and you've lost the pregnancy. I said, okay, fine. That's all I needed to know. From there, I know the next process.
Well, just hold it, Nyambura. We need to take a very quick break. But when we come back, I mean, this composure and this strength, where is it coming from? We'll find out when we come back from this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. So, Nyambura, you just lost the 4th pregnancy, or the fourth baby, and the news has been broken to you, and you're saying it's okay, but it's not okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not okay.
I think even the guys who were checking on me, I think maybe they were thinking I'm not mentally stable, because I went, and that day I went with my mom. I think even my mom told me, stop harassing people. Tulia. So I told her, I'm getting uneasy because I can see what is on the screen, but these guys don't want to tell me. That's why I'm getting annoyed. And I know I'm in pain. I know what is the next process. But we can't move to the next process without these scans, Mom. So I remember that day she kept on, even I think got to a place where she told me, Nyambura, you're annoying me. But I understand what you're going through. But you need to be patient. At least this time I had a good team. No one was talking behind of what they're doing and anything of the sort. But at least we went through the process, went home, stayed with my mom for a few days. Dan came. Stayed with him for a week, and he went back, and I was okay. So, and for me, I had decided no more children.
You've had enough.
I've had enough. And I remember my mom kept on saying, can you start? You need to start saying positive things to yourself. Stop saying negative things.
By this time, what has happened to the words that were spoken to you when you were in Form 1?
I thought, by the way, I think there was a time, that time I felt really hurt. And like God maybe mama hakuwa anaongeleshwa na Mungu.
Alikuwa na vitu zake.
Mama alikuwa tu na zake. That one, she was on her own.
Okay, so what happened so that you conceived again? I mean, how did you come up?
Especially, let me go back on that day. It was on a weekend. It was a Saturday, and mom is here counseling on the phone, counseling dad because she's a counselor, and trying to tell him, don't cry, everything will be fine, all that. And Dan is crying on that side. Yeah, my in pain. I'm not crying, I'm just there. First of all, I'm pissed off. I'm feeling things are going too slow. My dad has come. He doesn't know what to tell me, just tell me everything will be fine. It was interesting. My mother always says for her, she had to be mom, and she's with me. On the other side, on the phone, she's counselor. On the phone, trying to counsel her son on this side. It was actually, that was a difficult time. And I think this time we had taken some time. We stayed like about, I think, 8 months or so, and tried to conceive. We conceived again, but this one just happened. This one, nothing planned.
It was not your plan.
No, it wasn't planned. So we conceived, changed doctors. Actually, we began by changing a doctor.
Yeah, we began by changing.
Yeah, so
and first of all, when you found out that you have conceived, first of all, you were surprised?
No. Actually, we didn't conceive first. We met the doctor, changed the doctor, got a doctor, explained to him my history, and he was like, wow, that one, you brought me a difficult case. That's what he said. And then he said, okay, let me write all these notes and just let me go through them. So he read what we were discussing. Then he thought and said, okay, there's some few things that we'll do. He wrote about 30-something tests, 34 tests that we were to do. There were so many.
Was that on you only or on you?
On me. Because he said, this guy, he's okay. If you're conceiving, he's okay. Now it is you. We need to figure out what's the problem. So we did so many tests, but we didn't do all the 34. We did actually 10, yeah?
We did a few tests, not all that he said.
We actually went several times and we told him, cut down these tests. There are too many. Yeah. And some things don't make sense. Just let's not waste money on things that will not give us proper results. Just pick the ones that you think are very important. So he actually called Dan and told Dan, sasa mzee, hapa tunafaa kufanya hizi tests, hizi mchezo. And then we did 10 tests, 10. So when we went, then when we went, we did the 10 tests. Kumbe that time we're expecting.
Oh, you didn't?
We didn't know. So when we went back with the results, he said, before you come back, we need to see how many weeks you are and all that. So we will have to do a scan together with these tests. So he comes back, he says, okay, the results are all good. But this scan, my friend, umejaribu twins. That time Dan is not so amused. Dan was just so serious. Just looked at the guy. Because first you told us to do all these tests. Then he says, hey, for me I was like, and then he said, can you guys, you brought a difficult case. All these things are good. The tests have come out. They're perfect. You guys don't have a problem. The only thing now, let me put a stitch. And then from there, we figure out the way forward.
Yeah, they're stitching your cervix again.
Yes. No. This is the first time now.
Okay.
We're doing this.
Because it was before the time.
Yeah,
okay.
Before time. So the doctor planned, he told us, okay, now because it's twins, we need to now do more visits. So after every 2 weeks, you'll be coming. But on the 12th week, come and we need to plan and have a stitch put. So when we did the stitch, that's when now the doctor noticed, oh, I have a short cervix. That's why I couldn't carry the pregnancies to term. Because he was wondering, the timeline was, we started at 7 months, went 5, went 8 weeks, and then 4
weeks. Yeah.
So, and also when he was looking at that, he thought the curve is going down, not upwards, so it's not good. So when he did the stitches, when he figured out, he said, now I know the problem. It is a stitch. So again, after every 2 weeks, you need to be coming and we need to check that stitch throughout. So we had the stitch put, carried the pregnancy. The pregnancy was awesome. We didn't have any problems. Just the fact that it was different because it became bigger. Bigger because there were twins, and then
she was to be on complete bed rest.
Yes.
From week 12.
From week 12. So this time it was different because now I was not to work, no lifting things. I was just in bed. Wow. And even the doctor, I remember
12 weeks is approximately 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had a test, the stitch put. I was total bed rest, not moving around, not sitting for too long.
But by that time, were you back? Was done back to Nairobi? You were still in Kitale?
Kitale, yeah.
So you were staying with your mom? Or
yes, my mom would take me to the clinic.
Okay.
So we'd always go together, or his friend would take me. So, or one of my friends would take me also. So we'd always go. And then got to this time where the stitch had been put, I started feeling so much pain. So I told the doc, hey, Daktari, I'm feeling so much pain. Can I come? He said, come quickly. I went, we checked. He said, it's okay, let me give you some medication. Come back after 2 weeks. So I took the medication for 4 days. And then I started having labor pains at 26 weeks. So had a lot of pain. That time my mom was not around, my dad was not around, Dan is not available. Oh. So I called our best, I think it was our best man one of Dan's former colleagues sent someone to come and pick me up. He rushed me to hospital. I remember when that guy really felt bad. He waited for me. So the first thing I thought in my mind, okay, now the people who are meant to be called quickly to come are not available. So who can I call? So I called my mom's best maid and one of my mom's friends. So they came quickly to hospital. And the doctor told me, I don't know why you're in labor, but this is an emergency. So I need you to go to Nairobi Hospital, be admitted, and then I'm coming immediately. Just give me an hour. So I was admitted, we waited for him.
By this time you're feeling a lot of pain?
Yes, I was in so much pain. And he had already told the doctors, the nurses there, not to let me stand or sit. I should just be lying down on my side. So that's the position I took, just lying down on my side, waited. So because they were fraternal twins, there were 2 girls. So the doctor consulted with one of the doctors, some professors, and he came back and told me, together with mom's friends, and they said, we've consulted, and because of Nyambura's history, we don't want to risk. We don't want to lose a baby. We'd rather even lose one or just save both. But because they are both weighing different weights, and again, they're not sharing anything, whoever is ready, seems like one who is ready to come out. Let the one come out, we're going to push, and then we see if this other one can stay for some few hours or a day or 2. Because her body is better as acting as an incubator than outside. I thought, that sounds wise, eh? And even the doctor said, my mom's best friend was like, hey, that is a good idea. Because I would not want her to lose. Can we try not to lose any baby this time? So the doctor said, but the fact is, these babies need an incubator. So we'll need to, the longest they may stay is probably a month or 2, depending on the weight. So the doctor said, okay, I'll come tomorrow morning, because these ladies waited till the doctor came and left. So they left late at night. And that time my mom was coming from the States. My dad had traveled to South Africa. He was coming that very night. Both of them were coming in the morning. So, and Dan was in Kitale. So both of them, Dad came in first and then Mom came in in the afternoon. Then Dan came also in the afternoon, yeah? So I kept on calling the doctor and telling the doctor, okay, you've told me not to move, but I feel like the babies are moving. Could you please come and check, please? So he says, okay, I'm coming. I have another emergency. Let me go and see, I'm coming. But I've sent someone to come and check on you. So I got a nurse to check, and she said, okay, I'm fine. You're fine. We can wait for some few hours. Let's see. So when the doctor came in the afternoon and he was ready to deliver them. Actually, he didn't come in the afternoon. He came at around 11. And he found he told me, this procedure is so simple. Open up the stitch, you push, one baby comes out, the other one remains, because they're not sharing anything. They're fraternal, so you're good. I'm like, okay, fine. So, but I told him, hey, like, it sound kind of magic.
I know, right?
Yeah,
It sounds
because how does one remain?
Yeah.
Then says, no, this is something that we have discussed. I'm like, okay, fine. So he checks in and finds the cord of one baby is one that's hanging out. So he said, now this is something else. We're not doing what we're doing. He called the nurse, called the doctor, said, we're in the theater, sai. And I told him, what has just happened? He says, no, we're not pushing, you're going to the theater. This is an emergency. So Dan was told, where? Rudi na hizo maua, because they'd come with flowers. He told, Rudi na hizo maua, just say hi. And she's going to the theater. So we went to the theater. Took, I don't know how many hours, because now Dan's friends were there. Our friends were there with us in the hospital, Dad and his friend. Mom, as in there was like a whole team, a group of people in the hospital waiting for these twins to come. But, so I wake up after a few hours. I wake up in the middle of the night. Dan is not there. I think, no, you came and said, we lala. Utaona watoto kesho. And I asked him, wako aje? He said, lala tu, lala.
Wow.
Yeah, so me, I'm called and I'm told she has to go for an emergency CS. Mm-hmm. So I got myself to come here. Then the time I just arrived is when she was just being taken to the theater. And so we were told to wait. And so anxious, throughout this pregnancy, there's something we had tried to do is to follow the doctor's instructions. Mm-hmm. She was on complete bed rest, and she had so much. I remember sometime when I used to come, I would feel so sorry for her, because she had this concoction of medication she used to take. Tablets, for hormones, all this, and we did it religiously. She would take the medication. Mm-hmm. She was on complete bed rest, so we knew, in terms of, the process and following what we had been advised, we had done our best. Mm-hmm. And so we expected that everything was going to go well, because also the stitch has been done and everything. Yeah. So when I'm being called and told, this is an emergency. Yes, you also don't know what's happening now. But you wait, and she goes to the theater, and then I'm told the babies have been removed, and unfortunately we lost one of the babies.
One of the babies. Okay.
And so when later on
did the baby pass on after delivery, or he had passed on in the womb?
I think immediately after delivery.
Okay. Because you had been called to come and see.
Yeah. Immediately after the delivery, the baby passed away. Okay. So one of the twins passed away. Okay. And so the other one immediately was taken to the nursery, and immediately was put to oxygen and stuff. They started looking at the baby, and so we're hopeful. When I talked to the gynecologist, a very good doctor, he told me, don't worry, you know, we can't explain what happened because the stitch was intact. We don't know what happened. We just saw that one of the umbilical cord out, but the stitch was intact. We can't explain what happened. But, you know, everything, but the other baby is okay. Let's hope that this one will go through.
Yeah.
And already I've lost one baby. So I know I've been on this journey. Already my mind is, you know, is going back, and I'm thinking, oh God, what's happening again? You know, we've trusted in you, and these things we had not planned. It just happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, so also at the back of my mind, I'm also thinking, what's happening now? We thought we'd done everything well, you know. We did the test. I remember when we did the test, the first test before everything. I remember one of the tests was a lupus test, which the doctor was looking, and they wanted to confirm. According to the doctor's explanation, was that usually there are times when a lady gets pregnant, there's a condition called the lupus, where the body assumes this is a foreign body, and so the body wants to flush it out.
Okay.
And so that's one of the key tests that they really wanted to find out. Is it that Nyambura's body is rejecting the babies at some point? And so when it came out, she didn't have a problem. So we were comfortable. We knew, you know, everything is well. And so so here I am with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law and my friends. Well, most of our friends came in. My sisters, you know, my brothers came in, and you're all hopeful. Already you've lost one baby. One baby is decided to be taken to the morgue at Nairobi Hospital. The other one is still on the incubator.
All right, just hold it right there, Dan. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Wow, this is one of those stories that almost leaves you without words. But I'm really encouraged by Dan and Nyambura because God seems to have really worked on you people, to put you, I mean, to cause you to remain together, I mean, to remain hopeful and to have that strength. You've lost 4 babies. Now the 5th one, who was a twin, is gone. And by this time, you don't know. Yes. Nyambura thinks that
this time when Nyambura tells me, you know, when she wakes up from the, you know, from the sedation from the theater, she wakes up and asks me, how are the babies? Already I know one baby has passed away. How do you tell her that one of the babies passed away? You can't. I didn't have the courage to face and tell her, you know. So I told her, you just relax, you know. Everything is okay. I couldn't be able to tell her that we've lost one baby because you don't want to tell her that, and already, you know, we've gone through this pain together. So I wanted to spare her the pain. So I just told, you know, everything is okay. And sort of I just got clever and got away, you know, just disappeared. And so I'd go to see the baby every morning, the other baby that remained. And so Nyambura is asking me the question here, and I'm not able to answer.
But the interesting thing is that when he didn't answer me and he kept on telling me, Lala, I just slept. But when I was asleep, I saw actually an angel carry one child. While I was asleep, I saw the angel carry one baby and go with that child. And in my heart, I was feeling like, okay, fine. You've decided to take one, at least tumeniachia moja, so I'm fine. So
now this is in a dream.
In the dream, yeah. So I wake up in the morning. I've slept. I wake up in the morning. I wait for my folks. Dan comes in early. He says, wegoja kwanza kina mama come. Watu waenda wanamtoi alafu watoi alafu tukuje tukuone. So he kept on escaping the question. So later they came, Mom, Dad, Dan, plus a doctor, and they explained. And I cried and I said, okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I knew it. The thing I felt in my heart, a lot of peace. I remember that day I kept on laughing. I laughed because I had so many people around me. I would want to cry, but I had a lot of joy and peace that particular day. Because God had already shown me He has taken one. So we went to the dance, so that other twin, and I said, oh my, wow, so I'm a fanana baba yake. Now this other one obviously looked like me. And the doctor laughed. And when I said that, He said, maybe she actually looked like you. And we kept on seeing this baby. I think this baby survived only a day and passed away. So, because I was put in a maternity wing. So they moved me from maternity, took me to a far wing where I couldn't hear babies cry. And I couldn't be discharged early like these other times that I was being discharged early. Because it was CS and had already what the cause of the early labor was an infection, but they didn't figure out infection of what, because I was being treated on a lot of antibiotics. They were trying to do so many tests to figure out the infection, but they didn't find what infection. So anyway, so we stayed there for a whole week. But God was so gracious, because we didn't have a medical cover, but we got funds. We were able to pay the bill. The bill was really big. It was really expensive, but God showed up. We were able to bury those babies, and I remember that day he didn't want me to see the baby, but I told Mom, please, I really want to see this baby who went. At least this one I've seen. I want to see this other one. So, and for her, I'd call her Njeri. So I told Mom, I want to see Njeri. Please let me see Njeri. So I saw her. She was really beautiful. She was light skinned. So I kept on. Even that day I laughed. During the funeral, I laughed. I said, Mom, moja nafanana mimi na huyu mwingine nafanana babake. And it's during the funeral. Oh. Then I just laughed. I said, okay, but it's also painful that how can you bury two beautiful babies at the same time? So anyway, so...
And let me ask you, Nyambura, the baby passed on while you were in the ward?
Yes.
Did they tell you immediately, or how did they go about the whole story?
Yeah, the doctor came and said, we have tried our best, but also knowing that the baby was weighing 400 grams. The baby was really small, yeah, so... And the older one was weighing 600, so you could understand. Being that you had already delivered a 1.7, now you delivered a 600 and a 4, so it was understandable. So they explained, they said, one, weight, the weeks, they can survive, but actually they fight for their lives. Actually, if a baby survives from there, you just know that baby is a strong baby. So... yeah, we buried them. And I remember that funeral, we had a lot of people who came, and we decided to stand around and hold hands and pray again. It's just the whole idea, and say that's the end of it. So we held hands with a couple of friends and a few of our pastor friends, and we held hands and we prayed against we just asked God, please, we do not want any more child loss. So... the following year, because this one's were born in October, so was it in January or February? February, yeah. I lost both my grandparents, my grandmothers. One passed away on Monday, the other one passed away on Tuesday, the same week. So after their funerals, I remember even that particular week, the one I'm named after, I took her to hospital, and I asked her. She told me, Nyambura, you need to... She asked me, you don't get tired of conceiving? That's the first question she asked. Tula, I sure. And she says, Apana, I'm just asking because there's a friend of mine who, her daughter has been having the same problem that you have. And for them, they decided not to conceive anymore, but try and get just adopt a child. Don't just think about adopting. I looked at her, okay, fine, sure, she will think about it, That's not also a bad idea. That's a good idea. We had, I think, even the fact that we lost now twins, that loss bothered so many people at different levels. So we had so many questions from what did we do? I remember there's someone who came, the whole story of dowry came back again. We're done. Ulimaliza hiyo story ya kupeleka dowry. And we said, yeah. And then I remember when his uncle said, we need to check that list and see if there's anything that has remained. And everything was fine.
Did people talk about curses and witchcraft and things like that?
Yeah, there are those who brought up such issues. Maybe someone wasn't happy about you getting married to Dan. Maybe, such comments, yeah. And
what would those comments do to you? I mean, would they?
For us, for me, it didn't bother me. There were times, the only one that just bothered me was that, okay, fine. Then maybe, because I remember there was someone who was saying, hey, when nikaa kila mwaka lazima upate mtoi. Tukupate tumebeba. So that I felt bad. And that one really made me feel really bad, because there are those who would see you pregnant. The first, because for me, when you got to month 3, from month 3, I know I should not even be seen around, should be in my house, locked. But it made me feel bad, because you'd go out, someone, after some few months, you're not pregnant anymore, so you find people coming to ask you, oh, how is the baby? What did you get this time? And I know there's a friend of mine who said, well, nyambura tu nikusmile na kucheka tu. So I'd smile and say, mtoe ako poa, penye yako Mungu tu anajua ako fiti. And I go. And others I would tell them, I don't have that baby. That baby passed away. So when I tell someone the baby passed away, they would get embarrassed.
Yeah, for asking.
So yeah, for asking, and I would just say, from then I would just say, the baby, wherever that baby is, the baby is doing fine. They're doing well. They are really growing. Eh? And just the conversation to end there. Yeah. So on witchcraft and stuff like that, yes, there are those who would say maybe someone has been sacrificing your children or stuff like that. We got those comments. But it didn't bother us. So after, I remember when Shosho told us we try and adapt, even I remember some of my cousins who it really bothered them until they said asking, can you, we change doctors, we don't mind paying. Maybe it's not the best doctor. We can pay for the best to check on you. So this time when we lost the twins, it was like everybody was concerned. Everyone was affected. Everyone was trying to figure out how to deal with the issue. So it got to this particular time after we've buried Shosho, my grandfather's cousin came and called mom because in their church they had an announcement of all those women who God wants to bless them with children. Please tell them to come to church next Sunday. We're going to have a prayer for all those women who need babies. God has something in store for you. So for me, I wasn't for it. But actually, it had gotten to a place where I was going through depression, because of which I did not know of. My mom is one who had to sit me down and tell me, Nyambura, you're going through depression. The stories that you're telling me, because I would tell her, hey, Mom, today I woke up, even when I was walking, going to coming home, I felt like I would faint or collapse. There are times I felt like falling down. So I would tell her how I'm feeling, and she'd tell me, Nyambura, stop it. You need to start thinking positive things. And for her being a counselor and then being my mom, for her she was tough on
tough on you.
Yeah. So there's this particular time I woke up in the morning, went to her room, I told her, Mom, I've had it with God. I've had it with God, because how can he allow me to carry all these pregnancies to different levels and then lose them? And then he says I'll be a mother, and then now look. Why is he taking my children? Why is he doing this to me? And Mom, I remember mom she told me, Nyabura, can you keep quiet? Nyabura, Kira. I told her, okay, fine. I won't talk anymore. Let me go. She told me, no, sit there. So I was in her bedroom. She told me to sit on her bed. And she opened the book of Job 38. And it's where Job is spoken to by God. And it says that God spoke in a voice of thunder, like lightning. So at times when you think about it, God can shut you up and tell you, So she told me, when you look at Job and the questions that he's being asked, let me ask you, are you the one who made yourself pregnant? No. Did you know what was happening? No. Are you the one who chose what will come in, what will go out? No. Are you the one who chose the children that you're going to carry? No. Then why are you saying you're fed up with God? Why are you annoyed? Let me ask you. You have gone to those hospitals. How come you're alive today? And honestly, when she asked me that, I thought to myself, hey, yeah, even me, I'm becoming unfair. So, you're not thinking about Dan. Then he has lost. He has lost all those children. What if he had lost you too? Where will he be today? And for me, actually, that made me keep quiet. And this is on a Thursday. Then you go, and I didn't stop going to church. I think I didn't go to church for 2 months or so. So anytime she tell me go to church, I'll tell her, leo natembea church ingine. And then I'll go, come back home in the afternoon. Or I just stay at home. So this particular time I went to church and there was a guest speaker and he spoke about loss. And he spoke on the same chapter,
Job 38.
And I was like, what? How now? So later, after the sermon, guys were prayed for, and I went said hi to the pastor, and I told him, I don't know if you were told that I lost babies, because he was asking me, how have you been? I told him, I've been fine, but I lost twins a couple of months, a few weeks ago. And whatever he has preached is what my mom had to rebuke me. And I feel like you had been brought just to cement whatever I had to hear. Actually, God needed me to hear that. To know that I have no control over myself. Even the air that I breathe, I do not have any control over it. So when I remember when we talked, Pastor said, hey, Nyambura, let's pray. This time nothing else will happen. Remember we prayed at the grave and we've cancelled it. And here is now Pasi also praying and saying we need to pray that this thing never happens again. So here we are. My grandfather's second cousin called mom and told mom, women have been asked to come, those who want to get pregnant. And when I was in church, because she was going to church in Kangware and we live in Satellite, there are people who know my mom and know my story. So, and they were going to that particular church, Crisco Kangware. And she was told mom, I've had women ask themselves, who is going to tell Mama Nyambura to tell her daughter to come? And so when she's behind, there are these women discussing me.
Yeah, and she can hear.
And she knows this. She even turned and said, I know how I'm going to get Nyambura to come. Don't worry, I will do it. So she called my mom and told my mom, it's not a must, but if she wants to come, she can come. But Pasi has said people to come. Let women come, they be prayed for, they get babies. So, but they said, usikakwe offended. Your loss is everybody's loss. If other women are discussing on how to help you, even if it means to drag you to church, or even figuring out how they're going to get you to know this information, how you will get better, it's important. You just go. And don't go with a negative mind. Just go with a positive heart and pray about it. So for me, I prayed about it. I told God, okay, Shosho has said I go to church. I don't want to disrespect her. I know this church. I don't want to feel like I don't believe in prayer. I believe in prayer. So let me go. And I told Dan, tumeitwa church na ni Shosho, huo Shosho umjui, lakini unamjua, lakini umjui vizuri. Tunaenda kuombewa na ni Sunday service, so mi nitaenda. Sasa wewe enda tu. Sasa si maombi, hakuna kitu kingine, wewe enda. So actually we went for the prayers. But while during the worship, actually God told me, you know what? I'm giving you a boy. I'm giving you a son. And that son will be called Joshua. I smelled, I was like,
How did God tell you that? Did you hear someone?
yes,
Did you hear?
yes. I heard him speak and say, you're getting a boy called Joshua. I was like, hey, you're Gina, man. No. Joshua. But it's a good name. It's okay. So we went. Yeah, we went. Went home. I went home. I remember that day we were going for to finalize the committee meeting for after the funeral for my grandmother. So we were having the last committee meeting. So I went after church. Then Mom asked me, how was it? I told her it was awesome. Let's see if God will answer and do whatever he has told me he will do. So we went for the prayers. We prayed. The pastor prayed for us. We were about, I think, 6 or 7 women. And we were told, go conceive. Go home, go and conceive. So me I called Dan, told Dan, mi nakuja Kitale.
Oh well.
So interesting. Anyway.
Your wife is very interesting.
Okay, so yeah, so she came to Kitale.
Oh, she actually came.
Yeah, she came to Kitale.
Wow, at this point we really have to, pause the story because there's a lot more that we should expect in the other episode. We need to find out what happened after Nyambura went to church. Did she actually get the Joshua that God promised? Did she probably even get more children? Please join us next time, same place and same time, for a great moment to be inspired, to be encouraged in the presence of God. I have been your host, Sharon Aitore Wangenye. Please remember to always get in touch with us. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, Twitter. Just look us up and also text us on the number that appears on your screen. A special thanks to Sitam Kadolta for hosting us at Sitam Parklands, where they have this beautiful house, which is a fully furnished house where you can just come and enjoy yourself, have a great time, and be blessed.